So hi everyone, my name is Hirad Zafari. I am a student in the Toronto School Board. I am a student trustee of the Toronto District School Board, and I'm the president of the Ontario Student Trustees Association. And for those of you that don't know what a student trustee is, it's basically a trustee, just a student. And what we do is we sit on the same table, in the same boardroom as those trustees, and we speak on all board issues in order to ensure that the student voice, which is a voice that we're all working towards in education, is heard. And what sets Ontario apart in many ways in terms of education is that position itself, because we're one of two provinces in Canada that actually mandate this position. The other province is New Brunswick. And we've seen great things in Ontario, and we've gotten a lot of respect internationally because of this position. The thing is, when we think of education, there are so many people that are hired, that are employed to be working for us. We have our teachers, we have our senior staff, we have our trustees, we have the education ministry in government that works towards that. But until you can hear exactly where the students are, what the students are thinking, and where they're coming from, we really don't know what our education system needs. And so in the association that I am the president of, it's the collective group where the trustees of Ontario come together and talk about what's going on in your board, what's going on in our board, how can we work together, and what have you done that we can implement in our school board. And the great thing is that, and this came out of a conversation I had with a superintendent on my board. He said, who do you report to in this organization? Like, when you do stuff, who must you confirm it with? And I thought for a second, no one except for the students. We don't have any adults telling us what to do. We don't have any adults that we need to please with our initiatives. We're doing this for the students and from the students. And I think that's fantastic, and I commend Ontario for that. Now, if I was here talking to any other province, I'd have different recommendations than for Ontario, because we're already so progressive and we're setting the stage for education in the country. But then that leads me to my first point. It's that whole independence that our students have been given in this province that makes a difference. And when it comes to independence, it's not only letting our students do what they want, but it's letting them know and letting them grow up with the mindset that anything is possible. Now, the student trustee position is 1 to 3 in a school board, right? But and you may think that only affects those 3 students, but that group and our group extends to other students in the school board. We have student senates, which are kind of like student councils, but rather for the school board, that work together with the student trustees to ensure that all the voices of students are heard. And in Toronto, we have quadrant meetings where any student can come out and just talk. And the way that branches out, when you say we can have a student representative, and that can branch out into 2 more, and that can branch out into a few more, and when you have a school, and in that school there are so many individuals that can talk about what they've been doing and how they've been shaping the school board, it gets a lot of people encouraged to also speak up. And one of the biggest roles that we have as leaders, and as you guys have as parents and as leaders in education, is to really ensure that your children and your students know where their voice can go. And I hate to hear things, and I've heard this from adults too, that we may just be kids in suits. Right? I'm standing up here and I'm wearing this. If all I am is a kid in a suit, then my voice is diffused with all the other adults that are paid good wages to be speaking for us, right? But it's more than the suit. It's the fact that I live everything that you guys are doing in the school system. So when I'm in the classroom, I see technology, right? I work with technology. I am firsthand experiencing the equity issues or the solutions that we've provided. And really, it's the students that have the right to say what's wrong and what's right in the school system. And so growing up with the mindset that anything is possible for our students really motivates them to take a handle on their life. And really, in a classroom, when we see our education system, we can see the future of Canada, right? The kids that you're teaching in your schools, that's the future. So what you do with that classroom will really determine what the future is going to look like. Now, we can take this future in 2 ways. We can, first of all, we can let them know that that they need to take whatever they're given unilaterally and work with that and just not take a handle on their education, but rather just regurgitate it, just to pass the class. Or we can let them be independent thinkers and use the tools that they have around them to really make change and to be able to go deeper into their studies. The biggest key of success in schools and in terms of academics is the class being relatable to students. When a student is wanting to take to learn about the class after the instructional hours, that's what makes the difference, and that's what sets a career as opposed to just a job. And the way we do that is by using the tools that students are most commonly using anyways at home, which is things like technology and social media and whatnot, because technology really has the ability to take education to another step. And when we use technology, the interactive nature of it and the fact that it promotes innovation, technology isn't something that, like a textbook, you can't change the book. Unless you take a pencil, you can't change the book. But when you have technology, when you have, even if it's in the sciences, right? When you have the anatomy of a frog and you're doing it online and you can play with the frog and you can see what happens when you act with it in a certain way and how it acts in another way, it really gets the students involved in the activity first of all, but also, excited. And when they're excited to come to school, it makes a world of difference. Now, my parents came to this country to search for more stability. I'm originally from Iran, so the system that we had there when my parents immigrated maybe 16 years ago isn't as progressive as it is here. That's without a doubt. And what I do know is that it's not only stability in terms of politics, but also economically. Right? We have a system in which we are sustainable for our people, and we provide help for those that need it, while promoting individuals to break out of their hard times and to get back on their feet. But the one thing that sometimes I worry about is the fact that some of our politicians and some of our leaders are not thinking about tomorrow, they're thinking about today. And when you think only about today, the possibility of tomorrow going wrong is very high. And even if you want to look at, I'm not in a position to speak about the economic crisis or any of that, but what I do know is that if individuals were to have individuals first of all could have foreseen what was going to happen. Spending could have been more responsible. And the fact of the matter is, if this isn't resolved soon, people like me, the students right now that might not know exactly where it went wrong, will have to deal with it, right? And the steps taken to get again Ontarians back on their feet and to get the country and the world back on their feet must not impact us more negatively. And I mean that's basically Bill 115 is a prime example of that, right? We see an economic problem, we're working towards a solution, but that solution has pushed people on the ground in the path towards the end. And the unfortunate thing about that is that, it's setting a standard, and the standard that it set is that when times get tough, it's going to it's going to negatively impact everyone, and there's nothing you can do to find a solution without, making more problems. And I would have to disagree with that. Because, again, I'm not in a position to speak about money, but what I do know is that responsible spending does not have to, or rather, resolving the spending crisis does not have to mean taking rights away from people, first of all, and taking even some of the things that they originally had in their contract. Because the fundamental issue with Bill 115 and other things that are going on with the crisis is that it's saying that money takes a priority, and rather profits take a priority over people. And when profits are put before people, people aren't motivated to work out and to stand up against it, and it really takes it down a negative path, and a path that we don't want for Canada. We want Canada, and in the past we have had, and we currently, I would say, we're one of the better countries in terms of this, is that we're working for our people. Right? We have a democracy that really truly means that everybody has a voice, and if you want to be heard, you can. Right? And I'm really proud to say that. But the decisions we make up top should not be ones that really hurt the people at the bottom. And whether we have ministry individuals in this room or we have individuals that will be speaking with our leaders in the future, we really want to make sure that the bigger picture is held when we're dealing with the dollar signs. And that's really, going into safety. And when I say safety, I mean stability is safety. We want, again, my parents came to this country to ensure that I wouldn't have to worry about, what the government's going to do, or worry about if I'm going to have food on the table tomorrow. And the only thing I have to worry about is what I'm going to make for my own life, right? And how I'm going to move forward with the resources I've been given. And as we move forward with this economic crisis, and as we move forward with these different laws and whatnot to get us back on our feet, we need to ensure that people feel safe. And when students feel safe, when parents feel safe, when our people feel safe, the potential for success is much higher, and getting out of our hardships is imminent. And I want to leave you with one thing, and is that we should not, as individuals in education, be afraid of change, right? Because change really drives how we look towards tomorrow, how we change tomorrow. And when I say change, I mean if in the classroom it's as easy as technology. If our teachers are afraid to take technology into their hands and to enhance the classroom experience with it, we will be going nowhere. I mean, I know a lot of students say that, or a lot of parents even say that this class is being taught the way that I was learning it 40 years ago, right? And the issue with that is that times have changed. I mean, the way that students think these days is completely different than the way that our parents used to think, right? The situation we're in is different, and our resources are different. Again, I haven't really worked with books in a while now because the internet is so extensive in the information it can provide us. And this information, again, is interactive, which really makes the difference. Because now we have students that are more motivated to work on their studies because they know that when they go home they can find a broader range of knowledge that they can just eat off of and work with. And if we use this innovation and if we use this technology more in our classes, we know that our students will be more engaged and they'll be pushed towards success. And so I guess really what I ask of you as educators and as parents is to encourage dialogue with your students, because the students know what they need in the classroom, and the students can give you the best feedback on what's going right and what's going wrong. And if we take it, I mean, I want you to take advantage of these students in terms of the knowledge they have, right? And actually reach out to them and ask them, when it comes to technology, what can we do more? When it comes to equity, what's going wrong? When it comes to the way that your teachers are teaching, how can it be improved? And I guarantee that any student, whether they're the top of the class or not at the top of the class, they can provide answers that can be used and be taken so far. And the value of the student voice, and I'm sure you've heard this many times, is insane, and it can go so far, but it can also be kept at a low if you consider them kids in suits, or just kids. Thank you.